Hello lovelies, today we are doing capsicum. Capsicum isn't, well, technically it's a fruit, but we often refer to it as a vegetable. But it is just a fantastic vegetable that is full of vitamin C, full of vitamin A, and has lots of different ways that we can use it. Now I have to admit that I only recently have learned how to roast capsicum, and it's just changed my life. I just love it. So I have just got this out of the oven, and I will show you the step beforehand in a minute, but what I just want to do right now is show you that this is the end result. It's out of the oven, and I'm pretty sure, yep, you can see that. So it's all nice, and as you can see, it looks burnt. I'm going to put all these pieces in here, and it's really just so that they continue to sweat, continue to cook, and then it's going to be a little bit easier when it's cooled down for me to be able to show you how we peel that skin off. So put that aside, and then just cover it. I'll just pop that on there, and then that will we'll deal with that in a minute. But before I got to that stage, I took a capsicum. Now I wanted to show you this because sometimes people cut into a capsicum and the seeds go everywhere, and that is really annoying. And if I thought that I had to do it that way, then I probably wouldn't use capsicum. So I always try and make that first cut in such a way that I'm not going to touch any of the seeds. And then once you've got that first cheek off, you can then look at where the seeds are and manage to cut all of that capsicum so that you don't dislodge any of the seeds and then don't have to fuss with them. And then I go all the way to the edge. Sometimes I have to cut a little bit of the white off, put it there. And if you, I don't waste any of it because they weren't on special today. And you want to get all those little bits, and you can just pop those in the roasted medley that we're going to be doing later. So, and then we go and put that in our recycling. Okay, so this is, we get a tray, put some baking paper on it, lay the cheeks of the capsicum down so that the skin is up, side up, and then you're going to put that in a really hot oven. So I had this one on 210 and it cooked in no time at all. So you're going to pop that in the oven, and depending on how hot your oven is and how good your oven is, it doesn't take that long, 15 to 20 minutes. You will know because it will be nice and black on the top. And as soon as it is, you do what I just did then. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So now I want to show you just a simple roasted vegetable medley. And you can do this with any vegetables that you like. I just like the colours. So in here I've got sweet potato, but you could use pumpkin, sweet potato, get some cherry tomatoes, some mushrooms, zucchini, and a red onion, and just toss it all in, and then we just put a little bit of oil on there. But I want to show you how I do the onion, because not that this is anything fancy cutting it like this, of course, but I want to show you how I put it in the middle, pop it in the middle, and then as I've been talking about, I want to be using less liquid oil. Yes, we want to be having healthy fats, but we want to be using whole food sources of healthy fats. So avocados, nuts and seeds, whole olives, rather than the liquid form of fats, because it's just too easy to overindulge. And then if we're trying to release weight, it just makes it that much more difficult. So my trick has been just to get 1 teaspoon of whether using olive oil or coconut oil, pop it on your hand, rub it in. Now in this instance I start with the onion because I want to make sure that you're not getting big chunks. I don't like big chunks of onion in my roasted vegetable medley. I like them to be pretty separated. So I start with the onion in the middle, making sure that they are all pretty separated. And then rub my hands over the rest of them, give it a big mix up, and you can imagine how colourful and beautiful this looks. Just making sure that when you cut the vegetables, they're all a similar size. And mix it all up, spread it all out, making sure that nothing's really stuck together. And then, of course, I will be now putting some herbamare over there, the healthy salt that I use, and then you just pop that in the oven once again, probably 30-40 minutes, just wanting everything to be nicely cooked. And that is just such a great accompaniment if you're going to a barbecue, or you can pop that on top of a salad. I love doing something like this, popping it on top of some baby spinach or some rocket with some quinoa, and then this, and then some balsamic vinegar, maybe some sunflower seeds. Oh, delicious. Getting hungry. Okay, so that is the second recipe. Now the third one is stuffed sweet potatoes, stuffed capsicum. And I just wanted to show you 2 ways that you can cut a capsicum to stuff it. And I only learned about the second way yesterday. So, getting a knife, I didn't get that planned, did I? No, I'm going to have to use my big one. So, if I was looking at these 2, you want to try and have pumpkins, and I only had big ones today, of course, but you know, some small ones that perhaps stood up on their own like that. And then you would cut around the top as best you can. And here we are probably going to have to play with some seeds. Try and pop it, push it down a little bit, and then pull it out. There we go. And yes, the seeds have gone everywhere, but in this case, you just want to pull as best out. And I'd actually wash that. Wash it out, tip it out, and get rid of all the seeds so that they're all gone. So that's one way. And then you plonk it down and then stuff it with whatever you're stuffing it with. I usually do some sort of quinoa vegetable thing, and pop it in there, and then put that whole thing in a pretty much something with high sides, and then bake that. Now the other way that you can do a stuffed capsicum is to lay it on its side and cut it that way. So once again, you can see that then it will lay down, and you'll be able to stuff it that way, whereas this is stuffing it this way. So, which really, it's going to, however you fancy, and also the size of them. I mean, these are so massive at the moment. They're like capsicum on steroids, I tell you, that I would lay those down and do them halfway. That's that way. Okay, so that's the stuffed capsicums. So now we're going to go back to our roasted capsicum. And roasted capsicum is just so sweet. It is just divine. If you've never tried it, I really recommend that you do. So these ones have been sweating, they've cooled a little bit, they're almost ready for me to handle. And you can see when I pick that up that the skin, see how easily that just peels off? Absolutely fantastic. And then we're just going to discard the skins, and we're going to keep the flesh. And that flesh can then be used in what I'm going to show you next, which is a roasted capsicum dip, or wait until it's nice and cooled, because I can't handle that right now. And that will be beautiful, just sliced up and put in a salad. Would just be really add some gorgeous flavour to any salad. Now I'm just going to do a few more. You can see how beautifully that just peels off, and underneath that flesh isn't burnt. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, it's probably all I'm going to need for this roasted capsicum dip. All right, so now this roasted capsicum dip has walnuts or pecans, which you put in the blender first. If a recipe says to put everything in the blender and just blend, I personally like to do the nuts and seeds first, because sometimes, depending on the quality of your blender, you don't get a good consistency of those nuts, don't break down small enough. And I like them to be quite well blended. So do your nuts first, and then you will be putting in the capsicum. And the other trick to this beautiful dip is roasted garlic. Now this is so easy and something I once again have only just learned how to do. Just pop the whole bulb of garlic in the oven. And then it's so easy just to open it up, and the cooked garlic literally just pops out. And because it's been roasted, it just has the most divine flavour. It just gives this dip a fantastic rich flavour. So see how that just pops out, squeezes out, and it's really messy and really sticky. So you're going to be blending the nuts, so I might as well do that. And once again, I love this recipe because you're using whole food healthy fats, and then we're going to be using some gorgeous roasted capsicum. I will be later going and putting all of that in, and the juice of half a lemon and some chili. So really, depending on what have I got here, I've got some chili flakes, so I'll just put a tiny bit of that in, or you can put a fresh chili in depending on what chili you like, and of course some herbamare. And that's just going to make an absolutely delicious roasted capsicum and walnut, or in my case pecans dip. And that would just be a fantastic lunch with your flakes crackers or some vegetable crudités. But yeah, just delicious, and therefore we're getting heaps more vegetables into our diet. So I hope you enjoyed capsicum. Now, you may have noticed that this is the third week, and the very first week I did cauliflower, and the second week I did broccoli. And if you jump onto my website, naturallynick.com.au, you'll find that there's a blog, and the blog has all of the recipes in a PDF that you can download, and it also has the video of this so that you can watch along and just learn extra tips. So capsicum will be up by the end of the week, and I will see you next week. Bye.